Most agencies don't realize their delivery process is quietly slowing down projects, killing margins, and frustrating everyone involved. And the crazy part, you're probably building faster than ever, but shipping slower than ever. Today, I'll show you what's actually broken and what a modern system looks like. Before building Atarim, I ran a web agency. We delivered more than 600 websites, and we tried everything to stay organized with client communications, emails, Google Docs with screenshots, Slack channels, project management tools. We even built a custom client dashboard that no one ever used. And projects still lagged. Not because we couldn't build, but because after hundreds of projects, I saw something clearly. Building wasn't the bottleneck, delivery was. More specifically, feedback. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth. Everyone says we just need better communication. No, you need better architecture. Here's the obvious reality that nobody talks about. It is way faster to create something alone than to ship something with other people involved. So I'll give you an example. If I build a 5-page website by myself, I know what I'm doing, drag and drop, 1 to 3 days, I'm out. If I build the same piece of work with a client or a team member, the average is between 4 to 6 weeks. Same skills, same tools, completely different timelines. We surveyed hundreds of professionals in this space, and on average, creative projects takes between 500 to 700% longer once collaboration enters the picture. And here's the kicker. Inside Atarim, we have an email inbox that is specifically built for creative communications. So we looked at the data over there and tried to figure out how many of these creative communications done via email are clear enough to action in the first shot. And what we found was kind of shocking. 67% of all creative communications are too vague to action in the first shot. 2/3, 67%. That means most feedback triggers a clarification cycle, a week-long lag of what do you mean? Let's get on a call. Can you clarify which page? Can you send a screenshot? Is this on your phone? Not because people are incompetent, because email was never designed for visual work. We're using a 30-year-old communication system to manage modern digital production. That mismatch is the real problem. So let's go deeper. What makes feedback actually usable? There's 3 things: location, where exactly; context, what device, browsers, or state; and actionability. Can someone execute without a follow-up? Most feedback fails on at least one, usually all 3. Humans give feedback naturally by pointing at something. That's the way we are used to doing this for hundreds of thousands of years. Make this bigger, change this looks weird. That's normal human behavior. But email forces people to describe visuals in paragraphs, and that's where clarity collapses. Now your team becomes detectives, and detective work doesn't show up on a timesheet, but it burns real hours. If your team regularly has to ask follow-up questions just to understand what someone meant, you don't have a delivery system, you have a guessing game. Let me tell you about a moment that made this painfully clear to me. We managed a massive e-commerce platform back in the day, thousands of products, and one day we get an email. The add to cart button is missing. That's it. No screenshot, no link, no device, no context. We freaked out because we understand the stakes here and started scanning the website, but we could see the button everywhere. So we asked the client, which page, which device, can you send a screenshot? The reply, the button is missing, I'm busy. So for 3 days, we hunted. Turns out WooCommerce automatically hides the add to cart button when a product is out of stock. It was happening on one product, one. 3 days of stress, 3 days of wasted cycles, all because feedback wasn't tied to the actual interface. That's when I told my team, why can't they just click any part of the page and just leave a comment where the problem is? And I have a quick question for you. Where does most of your feedback live right now? Email, Slack, ClickUp, WhatsApp, a mix of all of them? Drop it in the comments. I want to see how fragmented your workflow actually is. So, what's the alternative? Instead of writing about the website, what if feedback happens directly on it? That's visual collaboration. In Atarim, when someone leaves a comment on a live site or staging environment, the system automatically captures an automated screenshot, the exact location of the request within the page, the URL, the browser and device, the screen size, and a bunch of additional technical data that helps you get to the point from the first shot. Our game is simple. How do we give you 100% clarity from a 3 to 5 word comment? Instead of it's broken, you get this button overlaps the hero image on mobile, on Safari, 390px. No interpretation, no translation, no detective work, just action. Here's how it plays out. First, we need to get your projects in. You can use the URL-based collaboration system. Just drop a public link and Atarim creates a collaboration layer on top of it. No installation, no setup. Perfect for live sites and quick client reviews. You can even go to atarim.io now and just drop the URL in there completely for free. Then you can either use the WordPress plugin or embed a script into your website for staging environments, membership portals, dashboards, e-commerce flows, anything behind the login screen, install the plugin, or drop in the snippet. Now collaboration lives inside the system itself. Next, graphic feedback. Design files matter too. Review graphics, mockups, and visual assets directly. The feedback stays on the actual creative, not buried in Slack threads. And we're talking PDFs, PSDs, and with our brand new Figma plugin, we're also putting your Figma comments-based workflow on massive steroids. Then every comment becomes a task, assignable, trackable, status-driven, no more copying from email into your project management system. The feedback is the task. You can manage all of it at scale from one structured feed, the unified inbox. You have design feedback, all the dev notes, client comments, internal discussions, everything in one place. So no more checking in 6 different tools. And then of course, you can automate the entire workflow. This is where the whole thing compounds. Atarim connects to your existing stack. Automation moves tasks between platforms, status updates sync automatically, and you stop manually pushing information around. Your delivery system runs itself. Now, each feature alone helps, but together they eliminate clarification cycles. Not missed deadlines, not talent gaps, clarification cycles. Unclear feedback to follow up, waiting on delay. You fix the architecture, the cycle stops. Projects ship faster. Teams spend more time building and less time interpreting. That's not better communication, that's operational clarity. And that's the foundation that Atarim is built on. Now, something interesting happens when feedback becomes structured. The bottleneck shifts. We already know that 67% of email feedback is too vague to action. So inside a structured visual system, that drops dramatically, but how can we get this close to zero? That's where AI enters the picture. Instead of running a week-long clarification cycle, what if the system runs it instantly? What if vague comments are challenged and refined in real time before they even hit your team? That's what we're unpacking next. So here's something I find really frustrating. Too many agencies will watch this, understand it, and still leave their deliveries scattered across email and the Slack and multiple different places. If you don't want that to be you, watch the next episode, because once you see how vague comments can be turned into clear, actionable tasks automatically, you can't unsee the difference between chaotic projects and smooth, fast-moving ones. I'll see you there.